For a woman to cheat on you, it's not that she's fallen in love with another man. She's just definitely not in love with you.
Ooh, I don't know where to start here. I struggle immensely with the kind of way that this is being framed. It's a very male picture in some ways you're painting of women.
My main question is, why, when a man cheats on a woman, we are so quick to blame the person and say he was outsourcing these needs, and yourself included, going like, the cheater is wrong, or he might be narcissistic.
No. Hang on. Don't put words in my mouth. I said men and women are wrong if they cheat. What I don't do is draw a strange difference between men and women in this department, which is what you seem to do with women.
I'm telling you from a female perspective.
I don't think many women would agree with you.
But men and women do cheat, but women are less at getting caught, I guess. I don't know. They're smarter about it, or they're just, I don't know.
And they have more opportunities than the average man.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, the average woman will have at least, somebody will sleep with her. Like, you know, she doesn't have to have that much going for her. She doesn't have to have a great job, and she doesn't have to have, you know, a lot of charm and wit. She can jump on an app and it's a bit easier for her. Whereas for the average man, it's not as easy. So I think the opportunity is higher.
Interesting. Is that why? And guys, I guess, are hitting on women more than women are hitting on men, right?
So the temptation is a bit different there as well. But
what's the stats right now? Do we know if men are cheating more than women these days, or are women
well, the
cheating more
stats,
than
I would
women?
always argue that women don't admit that they're cheating as much. You know, there's almost a pride to men when they cheat and stuff like that. They're always a bit more open about it. I know some of my closest friends that have cheated. Even to me, while I've been in the process, they'll pretend they haven't cheated. So there's a part of them that denies cheating. But
Is that men or women?
Women. Yeah, women. Even
but then
my
later
female,
they'll admit
but I've
to
been
it.
in the process. They're like, no, but that time we weren't really together, or that time we weren't together. And so, but there was a simultaneous connection. But what I would say is, I don't know who cheats more or who cheats less, but I think when women cheat, there is it's more definitive, as in that it's harder for them to come backwards from cheating. I tend to, and I don't know if you guys would agree, I tend to give the advice to men that when your woman cheats on you, it's very difficult to forgive her. I wouldn't recommend it. I highly don't recommend it.
Men shouldn't forgive
Men shouldn't
her?
forgive.
Why not?
With women, I think there's room for flexibility depending on the causes and
This
so.
is going to get a lot of.
But
It's going to get a lot of comments.
with
Okay,
men-
why should men not forgive the women they're with who cheat on them?
Because for a woman to cheat on you, it's not that she's fallen in love with another man. She's just definitely not in love with you.
Message.
Ooh, man,
And
that's
so
gonna
for
hurt.
you to take her back is just providing her free accommodation until she meets a man she wants to fall in love with. And like a lot of men think, oh no, women are so emotionally attached to sex. No. Some women can literally have an affair with a local PT who doesn't care about her, and she doesn't really care about him. It's what the driving force is, not the love for the guy that she's cheating on. It's the lack of love and respect for the man she's cheating on.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so when you forgive her and retry with the relationship, she's already decided she doesn't really want to be with you, but she will stay in this until she finds someone that will love her.
So if a man cheats on a woman that he's in a committed relationship with, is it also saying he doesn't respect and love her?
I think it's not so much a matter of love, isn't so much the component, it's more of a lack of respect. It's more of a lack of respect and a lack of fear of losing the relationship or whatever it is. I mean, I can't speak for men, but a lot of them can say that they can compartmentalize. They can still really want their relationship to work. They can still really, this is all illusionary, but this is what they say. They want their relationship to work. They love their wife very deeply. They want all of that, but they are just outsourcing the sex because it might be lacking, or it's not the way they like it, or they're outsourcing a feeling. In my experience with women, when they cheat, it's not so much that there's something they're craving outside. It's just there's something in the house that they're just not happy with, and as a result, they will cheat. And I've been in situations where I've had clients come on the phone or a video call, and I've switched on my screen and I've looked at the couple and I say, I can tell she's cheating.
No way.
Without saying a word. They haven't said a word to me. And I remember the last couple I did this with, and I looked and I thought, she's having an affair, but I'm not going to say anything.
You said it publicly? Or?
After a comment. And I said, what brings you here? And she started with, we have a great relationship. We're very good. Everything is good. We just don't love each other anymore. And I said, can you be honest with me? Are you having an affair? And she said, well, recently, and it transpired that she has having an affair. And I said, I can tell by your lack of connection to your husband, your lack of love. Most people, when they come on a therapy call, he was all suited and booted, ready for this call, like save my marriage. She was literally just like, oh God, do we have to do this? Like the disconnect that was there was there was no coming back from him. There was literally
from her
energy. It looked like she was held like by the throat to be there.
Oh, man.
And that's such a common theme when a woman cheats. It seems to be like, I'm not actually in love with you anymore, but I'll make it work because the guy, like, I haven't got as many alternatives. So what I say to men is, firstly, not only is she not in love, the second thing is it ignites something in a man that's not good for him. And the main thing it ignites is a feeling of inadequacy, sexual inadequacy and masculinity, but it can lead to physical abuse when it comes to a man. That anger and rage, some men will use that anger and rage to just leave and go work on themselves. Other men will use that anger and rage to control and to abuse. Women do this too. I'm not saying when women find a man who's cheating, they don't get abusive. It's just the damage that can come from a man being domestically violent is something that is, they're both wrong, but it's something that I wouldn't risk. So that's
I'm gonna have Matthew reply to this in a second. But do you think a relationship can truly repair and heal after someone has cheated? Or do you think
not when a woman cheats?
When a woman cheats, you think it's a lot harder, or you just don't think it's possible?
Not possible.
Really?
Yeah, I would honestly say, from what I see, every time a man forgives a woman cheating, she eventually leaves him for forgiving her.
Really?
Yeah.
The conviction she displays as she conveys her point makes you suspect she not only has countless secondhand accounts from women who have cheated, but also speaking from a woman's point of view regarding how things change for them after infidelity.
Why is that? It's just because of lack of self-respect? Is it a lack of...
She understands now that there is no boundaries to this relationship. Most women are under the impression that a man would leave. Most women tend to assume men will leave because that's what they tell each other. Oh, I would never put up with it. I would never put up with it. So when she learns he's willing to accept the unacceptable, she now realizes unacceptable behavior will run with him. And therefore, there is no motivator to prevent it happening again. So I've always seen, again, I have to preface this, I see worst case scenarios, but I've always seen it become a repeat offender. I'm not saying men don't do it the same way, but I'm just saying in my experience of seeing when women cheat, you're simply waiting for her to leave you now.
So maybe you could stay in a relationship, but it's just not going to be a healthy, committed relationship. There might be more breakdowns.
I think one thing men underestimate is how loyal we are to the person we believe gives us the most sexual satisfaction. There are women. Yeah, we are.
Say that again.
Women are incredibly loyal to the man that gives us the most sexual satisfaction.
Really, over like financial security or safety or providing status.
A lot of the time they can be. I'm not saying all of the time, but a lot of the time they can be. I know women who will wait for a man who's in jail simply because, not because he's the best, but she's all he knows. Since she's been with him, she hasn't touched another human being. So that's all she knows. And women that are like that, they're not as curious. That's all he knows. But when she's got that curiosity and she opens herself up to being pleased by other people, it becomes difficult to revert back to monogamy.
Message!
Really?
Yeah, it becomes very difficult.
I can be pleased by someone else as well, or maybe it's better or different.
It can be man or woman. It could be man or woman. When you open that door up for her to unlock that part of her to somebody else, it becomes difficult to reverse. So I'm saying this from a female perspective. I would love to hear from a male perspective what it's like when it comes to cheating.
Matthew, I'm curious about your thoughts on cheating. And
feel free to disagree.
And a relationship repair after cheating occurs.
I struggle immensely with the kind of way that this is being framed. The kind of, Sadia, the talk about, women cheat because they don't respect their man, which I think even that is so many people cheat because they are craving an emotional connection that they're not getting inside their relationship. I mean, how many women are with men that are never present, who don't show up for them, who, are a workaholic, obsessed with their business, obsessed with something else. And then all of a sudden they find that they develop an emotional connection with someone on the outside.
And straight away he goes for women's favorite argument they employ online to escape being accountable for cheating in a relationship. It's always the victim's fault. He wasn't present enough. He didn't provide emotional support, a lack of communication in some capacity, etc.
That maybe started innocently enough, but that emotional connection turned into something more. It's a very male picture in some ways you're painting of women, this idea that they are essentially just, they don't it comes from a place of essentially disrespect and contempt for their man, and it's just a bit of sex on the side. Maybe there's some of those, but it feels like we're missing a giant archetype there, which is the woman who is craving connection. And
emotional connection?
Yeah, emotional connection.
But then
and that's the precursor to a physical connection.
So would you say the fault lies in the man not meeting her needs, or in the cheater herself?
I don't know that I think of it that way. Well, I think she's obviously transgressing in terms of the boundaries of the relationship, and that's wrong, and that's, you know, on either side to not have that conversation that, hey, I'm not getting my needs met, can we talk about this? Or even, hey, I'm having feelings for someone, I need to talk about this because I don't want it to go to a place I can't come back from. So that of course that's wrong. I struggle with this idea that women are, once they've cheated, they just can't look at their man the same way again. And that they've just now fundamentally lost something.
Do you think they can look at the man with love and respect and
I think they
admiration?
can look at him the same way, but not if he forgives her.
Well, but this is...
That's actually what I think is
what's really
the
interesting
problem.
about that, Sadia, is it's a real kind of almost prejudice against women and their capacity for kindness. It was almost the same as saying that women are just inherently more cruel than men.
For those of you who missed it, take note. That was his first attempt to shame her into changing her position about women who cheat. He does this a few times during their debate on the topic.
But I'm saying that with the preface that they've already cheated, which
women
is a
have
lack
cheated.
of kindness.
No, I
which is a
hear
lack
you.
of
I know
kindness.
that. I get the
so
scenario.
it's a skewed. It's not women.
What you're
it's
saying is
cheating
men
women.
are capable of kindness, compassion, and future connection with someone that forgives them. But women are not capable of such kindness.
I would argue it's not that they're not capable of such kindness, but we're talking about a market of women who already demonstrated a lack of kindness through the cheating. So in that subgroup, absolutely, they're lacking kindness.
No, I hear you. We're talking just about people who have cheated.
Yeah. There are endless women who have men that message, double text, triple text. What puts them off in that moment is not his kindness and compassion. It's his unwillingness to walk away when he's being disrespected.
But you are framing forgiveness as the antithesis of masculinity.
But you are framing forgiveness as acceptance. I think forgive me if I was to do that, but accept me is a different experience.
No, forgiveness is saying this relationship means more to me than my pride or my ego. I love you. I want to make this work, and I'm going to be a big enough man to make this work in spite of this. And that makes him the bigger person. It doesn't make him emasculate. It doesn't. He's not. You're framing forgiveness as he's emasculated himself by forgiving her, and she can never get over that moment of him emasculating himself.
I believe that very, very strongly, and the reason being is that the relationship should mean loads to you, but part of you should understand, for her to do this, we don't see the relationship in the same light.
But you're saying it's different if it's a man.
I wouldn't say it's totally different. I think the disrespect is there, but I think.
No, but you said if it's a woman, she forgives him, or if it's a woman and she forgives him, it's fine and it can all work. But if a man forgives her,
I said it's
doomed.
difficult. I said it's very difficult. But I do think men can compartmentalize sex in a way women can't. Similarly, when we were talking about male cheats, you were very quick to say that the cheater is a problem. But when females cheat, it's an emotional need she was outsourcing, which seems to be forgivable.
I didn't say she wasn't wrong. I said it was wrong.
Only when I probed that.
She absolutely got him on that point. He was quick to lessen a woman's impact when they are the cheaters by claiming there must have been something lacking in the relationship that causes them to cheat. Let's rewind.
I mean, how many women are with men that are never present? You know, who don't show up for them, who, you know, are workaholic, you know, obsessed with their business, obsessed with something else. And then all of a sudden they find that they develop an emotional connection with someone on the outside.
Only when I probed that. Your original...
I have no issue saying anyone who cheats is in the wrong.
But
what I was refuting was the idea that she's only cheating because she doesn't respect him.
Yeah.
That she could be cheating because of an emotional connection that she's not finding in the relationship. I'm not suggesting there aren't also logical reasons why men cheat, but it's wrong on either side.
It is wrong on either side, but the previous conversation was very much the fault of the cheater. In this case, there was a compassion to her reasoning. Now, there wasn't a compassion to a man cheating because he wants sex. Like, if we're going to show compassion, it has to be on both ends. The woman that is outsourcing...
I don't think I was showing compassion to the woman. What I was saying was, your assertion that there's only one reason women cheat, and it's because they don't have respect for their man, was a really singular notion.
But I would still argue that, because even if she's lacking emotional connection, you're going to lose respect for the person that you don't have a connection with, but you're tied to. There's going to be some, because look, there's some women that lack emotional connection, but they don't progress to cheating. There's some women that lack financial stability, they don't go to cheating. I think the lacking is one component, but it's not the only.
But I guess what I'm saying is, why is it different for men?
I personally don't think there's much coming back from when men cheat either, but in my personal experience, sometimes what I notice is men go into two categories. Some men will, when a woman forgives them, they'll think, right, I've got a freedom pass, I can do this forever. I'm going to do this forever. Other men will think, I've done it, I've tried all types of, it's usually sexual. So it's out of my system.
Or I hurt myself, I hurt my wife.
I hurt myself, and I
could lose my family and my kids.
Yeah, there's too much to lose, and then they can repair. With women, it's just and also the other thing is, he doesn't start to think less of her for forgiving him. In my experience, men don't think less of a woman for forgiving him. They might think, they might go and disrespect and do it again, but they still think, oh, she's really loyal, and they kind of like the forgiveness. They kind of appreciate the forgiveness. With a forgiveness, when you give to a woman, it just makes her feel like, I have a man that doesn't respect himself more. He likes the relationship more than he likes himself.
I linked a part 2 of this debate in the description. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.